So, on how about while we like to talk about the Cowboys getting back to the glory days, I don't know if I can see that happening in 2025. How about you? Leave your thoughts down below in the comments. I mean, I can get optimistic and talk about how this is possible, but some pretty significant holes in the roster still have me apprehensive about believing here in 2025. So, let's just start with the defensive backs. At cornerback, Siobhan Revell coming off an injury as a rookie. I think we have a lot of high expectations and hopes for how good Siobhan Revell is going to be in a couple of years. But as a rookie coming off a torn ACL, that one's tough. Then we know about Diggs, and then you're left with Deron Bland and some pretty unproven guys like Kalen Carson. It's tough to imagine the Cowboys being able to cover. Now, there is a scenario where it'd be okay. I mean, I do see the potential to have the best young group of pass rushers the Cowboys have ever had. If Sam Williams and Ezraku hits, along with Micah Parsons and Osa, and then Overshown coming through, this could be really crazy. And a lot of just sufficient corners. Kyer Elam might have a great year at corner, behind a group of pass rushers like that. So I do want to throw out there that caveat that is possible, right? But how likely is that? So if you get through corner, you also have to look at safety. Malik Hooker is the best run defending safety the Cowboys have, and he's just like barely average by PFF scores and film. After that, Donovan Wilson is bottom third as a run defender. Bell and Thomas are even worse, and it's a combination of like barely good enough and too much risk reward, for either one of those to really give you any sort of confidence that you're going to get dynamic playmaking from the safety position. So then after that, I mean, both defensive backfield spots. After that, I got to come over to the offensive side of the ball and look at the offensive line, which I am excited about the future of. Okay, but I do think the offensive tackles could sink your plans, especially if your game plan isn't in line with it. We were talking with Brian Broaddus on the G-Bag Nation about this today, and the topic came up. If right guard, center, and left guard are really good, but right tackle and left tackle are so, how good of an offensive line would you have? And I do believe you can mitigate a lot of Terrence Steele's shortcomings in the pass game if you just run more. He's really good at this running stuff. Maybe similar stuff can be true about Tyler Guyton. Year 2 has to be big for him. Otherwise, I'd be looking to reload and fire a left tackle bullet next year in the draft. I do think it is that important. And as Tyron Smith came in and out of the lineup and in and out of playing well, you saw a pronounced difference in the Cowboys' offensive efficiency during Tyron's last couple of years with them going in and out. We need more stability there. And plus, if you could find a punishing a run blocker and a shutdown left tackle, I think that could win MVP if you still have George Pickens here in this situation. But right now, that's a big concern, right? So you got to get through corners, safeties, tackles, and then bonus, I'm going to throw in running back there for just this reason. We've seen historically the Cowboys have had some terrific running attacks, but it was with DeMarco Murray and it was with Ezekiel Elliott. And other than that, over the last 15 years, it hasn't really happened. And when they've gone, sort of a cheap, or when they haven't prioritized running back enough, it's been bad. Joseph Randall, Darren McFadden. Last year with Rico Dowdle, it was horrible, but you didn't have any sort of game-breaking ability at the running back position, and maybe that cost you. It absolutely cost them when they left Zeke in there, thinking Zeke was better than Dowdle. That was brutal. So, are we back in that situation right now? Javonte Williams, maybe a good third down back. Miles Sanders, what's he still got? We don't know. Did he go to Carolina to have his career end, or was that a nice little restful stop late in his career? If it take much, wear and tear onto his body. I do believe Jaden Blue, but he might just be that 10 to 15 touch complementary type of weapon back that you love to have. Like Newbear compares him to Warwick Dunn or Alvin Kamara. I think those are great comps. Is he going to be a workhorse guy? Would you trust the ball security with Jaden Blue, workhorse guy? I guess that could come true, but that would definitely be a surprise. And then Phil Mafo's pretty big long shot there, with the lack of jukes, with the lack of top end speed, their 7th round running back. So I do believe 2026 looks great. 2025 keeping my fingers crossed for great development and reasons to believe that maybe by the time we get to the end of the season, that pass rush and that offensive line can give this team a real identity to build off. But, I'm kind of giving up at this point unless the Jones boys have something late in the summer and into training camp that they're actually going to go out and build the kind of complete roster without holes that would give me more confidence right now. I just want to see some wow, Jer. Steve, how about it? How about wow?